Good evening. Thanks for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhan, and if you're not watching the IPL, well, then here are the headlines for you tonight. Strong global cues boost the Lal Street, the Nifty and the Sensex hitting 5-month highs. The Nifty Bank and the mid-cap index scale new peaks, end at record highs. India overtakes France to become the world's 5th largest stock market with a market capitalization of over $3.3 trillion. RBI red flags governance gaps in public and private sector banks, issues a 9-point code of conduct. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das advises bank boards to maintain a constant vigil. After weeks of tense negotiations, US President Joe Biden and Republicans reach an in-principle agreement to lift the debt ceiling for 2 years. In exchange, the government will keep non-defense spending flat in 2024 and increase by just 1% in 2025. Congress to vote on the deal on Wednesday. The government widens its crackdown against electric vehicle companies for violating subsidy norms. Sources say that after Hero Electric and Okinawa, notices have been sent to 4 more companies for allegedly not complying with localization criteria. Go First management taking steps to retain employees as they chart out their revival plan. Sources say the airline has credited April salaries to some of the employees. It's also announced a 1 lakh rupee retention allowance for pilots and 50,000 for first officers. JioCinema announces a partnership with NBC Universal Media. This deal will enable the streaming platform to expand its Hollywood content for Indian viewers. The multi-year deal will give subscribers access to popular shows including Downton Abbey, Suits and The Office. The Delhi police files FIRs against wrestlers, presses charges for rioting after detaining them in Jantar Mantar yesterday. The police clears the protest site. Protesters allege it was pre-planned action. The Rajasthan High Court observes that the right to choose one's own gender identity is integral for human beings. While hearing a case, the court in its order states that choosing one's gender was one of the most basic aspects of self-determination, dignity and freedom. The Turkish currency slips to a new low after the nation's longest-serving president Erdogan declares victory in an unprecedented runoff, gets 5 more years as president. Well, those were the headlines. Let's get into some details now. India's equity markets did get off to a strong start today. Sentiment buoyed by news that the US President Joe Biden and Republican leader McCarthy had reached an in-principle deal to pull the American economy back from the brink of defaulting on its financial obligations. The Sensex and the Nifty spent the day comfortably in the green, supported by a strong uptick in metal and real estate stocks. The Nifty Bank also helped as it hit fresh all-time highs in early trade. Today's rally cemented India's return to among the top 5 equity markets in the world. Remember, it had lost the number 5 spot to France in January following the rout in Adani Group stocks. However, the recent rally has sent India's market cap above $3.3 trillion, and that has pushed it ahead of France, which has lost over $100 billion in market cap following the ongoing sell-off in luxury good makers. The rally in Indian equities, which has seen the Sensex and the Nifty gain about 10% each since the lows hit in mid-March, has been fueled by foreign inflows to the tune of $5.7 billion. That is since the start of April. Now, this is what moved markets today. US President Joe Biden and top Republican Congressman Kevin McCarthy have reached an in-principle agreement to raise the debt ceiling to avert a default. The deal will suspend the $31 trillion debt ceiling until the 1st of January 2025. However, it still needs to be approved by the US Congress. Now, oil prices rising after that tentative debt ceiling deal. However, concerns over interest rate hikes have capped gains. Gold prices falling to a 2-month low on the back of that tentative US debt ceiling deal, which dampened demand for the yellow metal. Back home, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das has said that central banks intend to have first-hand feedback from banks on how to ensure that the Indian banking system is resilient and future-ready, even in the face of risks and uncertainty. In fact, the Reserve Bank has issued a 9-point code of conduct to both public and private sector banks. Sapna Das joins us now with more. Sapna, what's on the to-do list?
Well, this is a clear messaging by the Reserve Bank of India to both public sector and private sector banks, in terms of governance and stability issues, in terms of avoiding smart accounting practices. Starting off first with the, with the role of independent directors here, the Reserve Bank of India expects independent directors to be more proactive, ask more pertinent questions to the management. Also, it has found certain instances, RBI has found certain instances where the board decisions are being driven primarily by the MD and CEO or the chairperson. RBI wants the boards to be more assertive here. This is not being really liked by the RBI. Also, in terms of the agenda setting for board meetings, in terms of the quality of information that comes across, RBI says that many a time agenda notes are nothing but PowerPoint presentations, and they have exhorted bank directors to go beyond these guided tools. There have also been certain material discrepancies in terms of the agenda notes for board meetings, so this is not being liked at all by the RBI. Also, in terms of maintaining the asset liability and the balance and avoiding an ALM or asset liability mismatch, RBI has told banks to be cautious in terms of their product pricing and in which market they are and how much predatory pricing can be done in terms of competition. They should be very cautious and prudent on that front. Last but not the least, RBI has also pointed out the practice of evergreening of bad loans, both by public and private sector banks. RBI has gone ahead to in fact say that when one mechanism was plugged because the regulator raised a red flag, the banks came up with another mechanism to do this kind of evergreening. This is not going to be tolerated at all by the Reserve Bank of India, and this is a very clear message, especially to the board directors. They need to watch out on this front.
Sapna, many thanks for joining us. Now, days after the RBI decided to withdraw the 2,000 rupee note from circulation, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman defended the move, saying that the lifespan of the currency had been achieved. Speaking to the media at an event in Mumbai, the Finance Minister said that a decision on the currency is taken by the central bank as it is a sovereign business. However, she did add that the government's approval is sought when it is a question of continuing the currency as legal tender.
Even by the lifespan calculation, the currency note's lifespan having been achieved, it's the Reserve Bank which is taking it back. Currency is a sovereign business, and decision on the currency is taken by the central bank. And when it is a question of which is continuing to be legal tender, the government's permission is sought. So these are processes and due diligences which both RBI and the government will follow duly.
Well, that is the Finance Minister. Veteran banker KV Kamath sees a clear runway for growth in the infrastructure sector led by solid health of banks and corporates. Speaking with Lata at the FICCI Summit, Kamath said that every city in India presents the opportunity of rebuilding infrastructure as they demand more capacity in terms of roads and housing.
Every city in India has to be rebuilt. So urban rejuvenation. And you see the amount of connectivity that is required, whether it is road, rail, ports. You drive on any road in India, or you just go on YouTube and watch people going around, every road is crowded, which means there is more capacity required, more lanes to be added, and so on and so forth. I would think in the infrastructure side, a 25-year horizon, I think, is a given. In other areas, it is going to be periodic growth.
KV Kamath. Now, the government has widened its crackdown against electric vehicle companies for violating subsidy norms. Sources tell us that after Hero Electric in Okinawa, notices have now been sent to 4 more companies for allegedly not complying with localization criteria. Parikshit standing by with the details. Parikshit, which are the companies that have now received these notices?
Well, notices for recovery of subsidies and debarment from FAME have been sent to 4 additional companies after Hero Electric in Okinawa. This includes Greaves Cotton, Bendling, Ammo Mobility and Revolt. Sources tell us that the MHI has issued a notice for recovery of 124 crores in subsidy from Greaves Cotton, 48 crores from Bendling, 44 crores from Revolt and 80 lakhs from Ammo Mobility. The reason is both ICAT and ARI have submitted their reports, and these testing agencies have said there has been a violation of the phased manufacturing program, the localization content under the FAME scheme. And therefore, these companies will also be deregistered from FAME. As a first step, they have been show-caused and asked to reply within 6 to 7 days. The centre has already issued notices to Hero Electric in Okinawa. We believe these companies have replied, but have so far not paid back the subsidy which the government is asking. So, having said that, it's possible that the government may take some action against these companies in the days to come. But for the moment, the government is still mulling the next step. Greaves Cotton has sent out a statement regarding the action of the government. They're saying they are in touch with the government to understand the nature of allegations against them and how to take remedial measures.
All right, Parikshit, many thanks for joining us. Shares of ICICI Lombard ended today's trade by more than 8%. And this comes after ICICI Bank said it would acquire an additional 4% stake in the general insurance company. The bank informed the exchanges that it would acquire at least 2.5% stake off the 4% before the 9th of September. This will take ICICI Bank's overall stake in the general insurance arm to over 50%. The Central Bureau of Investigation has registered a case against Rolls-Royce and its executives over alleged corruption in procurement of the trainer aircraft. The agency has booked Rolls-Royce India's director, Tim Jones, and other unknown public servants of the Defence Ministry. A CNBC-TV18 exclusive, Federal Bank is on the hunt for funds. Sources tell us that the bank is looking to raise between 2,000 to 3,000 crore rupees from a large qualified institutional placement. Waste generated from the extraction of gold and other minerals in the closed Kolar gold fields in Karnataka may soon be cleared. Sources tell us that a transaction advisor has been appointed and will auction tons of extraction waste at KGF. Sources also say the government is inviting bids from global players to extract rare metals. Reliance-owned JioCinema has signed a multi-year deal with NBC Universal in a bid to increase Hollywood content on the platform for Indian viewers. NBC Universal's programming will start streaming next month on JioCinema under the Peacock Hub branding. The deal will give subscribers access to popular shows including Downton Abbey, Suits and The Office. Now, in a bid to restart operations, cash-strapped Go First is taking steps to retain its employees. Sources have told us that the airline has offered retention allowances to its pilots. Danish joins us now with the details. Danish, so some measures being taken to try and ensure that the airline doesn't lose its assets, not just the planes, but also its people. What are sources telling you?
Well, the currently grounded airline Go First is taking all steps to retain its employees. Sources have informed CNBC-TV18 that the salary for the month of April for some of the employees has been credited. The ground staff and cabin crew have got their April salary credited. However, Go First is also trying hard to retain its first officers and captains by offering them a retention allowance. In an internal communication accessed by CNBC-TV18, first officers have been offered a retention allowance of Rs 50,000 along with a normal salary. Similarly, captains have also been offered a retention allowance of Rs 1 lakh along with a monthly salary. The airline is also expected to come out with a longevity bonus. The retention allowance will be applicable for all captains and first officers who are on payroll as on May 31st, 2023, and also to those that have resigned but are willing to withdraw their resignation by 15th of June. Just last week, DGCA had also asked Go First to submit a sustainable revival plan.
Danish, many thanks for joining us. We will head into a break, but up next, the Delhi police files an FIR against wrestlers, presses charges for rioting after detaining them. Clears the Jantar Mantar protest side. That and more when we return.
This car's electric for more reasons than just being woke.
Oh yeah.
And man, the money it saves you is no joke. It's got enough range to get you anywhere!
And it's the go-to park when you get there.
The all-new MG Comet EV, the no-nonsense car.
Because just like us, this car cuts the crap, man.
When our big boss was MD, he used to take care of us.
And our Prince Sahab is busy ensuring his family. Oh, big boss, you?
He's busy obtaining term insurance for his family. After all, office is also our family, am I right?
Let's close the deal.
Thank you.
Verma ji, will you have tea with this prince?
LIC's Group Term Assurance Plan takes care of your office family.
A show that is unmatched.
We tell you stocks to watch out for and which sectors are impacted.
Thought-provoking.
In India, the allocation to equity is about 5 to 10%, which is not beating inflation. So investing aggressively can actually look at even beating inflation.
And will give you maximum value for your money.
It is a good time to look at debt funds as a category. There's no better time than this in that sense to lock in rates for the long term.
A masterclass with India's biggest market experts. smart money at these times.
Powered by Bandhan Mutual Fund.
The Delhi police has filed FIRs against wrestlers and has pressed charges for rioting after detaining them in Jantar Mantar yesterday. They have now cleared the protest site. Protesters allege that this was pre-planned action. Matthew Thomas and Shivani Bazar's report on how the sporting community has responded to what transpired.
Chaos descended at Delhi's Jantar Mantar on Sunday. The police forcefully restrained and detained wrestlers as they tried to march towards the new parliament building. Remember, India's top wrestlers have been protesting for the last 2 months, demanding the arrest of Wrestling Federation chief Brij Bhushan Singh on charges of sexual harassment. The Delhi police say tensions escalated when the wrestlers attempted to breach security barricades.
इनके साथ बातचीत हुई, लेकिन इन्होंने कुछ भी सुनने से मना कर दिया। तो उसके बावजूद जब इन्होंने ऐसा करने की कोशिश की तो इनको डिटेन करना पड़ा। डिटेन करने के लिए भी इन्होंने बहुत रेजिस्ट किया, जिसके लिए हमारी महिला पुलिस फोर्स है, उन्होंने ही इनको डिटेन किया बहुत मुश्किल के साथ।
But the wrestlers maintained that they were protesting peacefully until the police dragged them away.
हम शांतिपूर्वक मार्च कर रहे थे, करना चाहते थे, करने तो दिया ही नहीं। आगे बढ़ना स्टार्ट किया तो उन्होंने जो है पुशिंग स्टार्ट कर दी कि आप आगे नहीं आ सकते हो। तो उस पुशिंग में वो हमें डिटेन करने लगे, लेकिन हमने भी अपने आप को रोकने की कोशिश की कि मत आगे जाओ, मत लेके जाओ, बस में मत लेके जाओ, हम शांतिपूर्वक ही तो आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
These scenes have drawn sympathy from across the spectrum. JSW Cement MD Parth Jindal tweeted that it pains him to see how Indian champions are being treated. Jindal is also the founder and director of Inspire Sports Institute, which provides full scholarships to athletes scouted from across the country. Athletes like Olympic gold medalists Neeraj Chopra and Abhinav Bindra, along with Indian football captain Sunil Chhetri, have also tweeted in support of the wrestlers. The issue has also turned political. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee called it shameful, and Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi has questioned why the Wrestling Federation was being protected.
भाई इस आदमी को बचाने के लिए इतना सारा क्यों किया जा रहा है, जब इतनी सारी लड़कियां जिन्होंने देश के लिए इतना किया है, इन्होंने इतना किया है और आप उसको बचा रहे हैं, भाई इनको बचाओ ना।
Top wrestlers Vinesh Fogart, Sakshi Malik and Bajrang Punia were eventually released late on Sunday. However, the Delhi police has filed FIRs against the protesting wrestlers with charges including rioting. It has also said that the wrestlers will no longer be allowed to protest at Jantar Mantar.
अगर वो कहते हैं कहीं और प्रोटेस्ट करने के लिए तो उनको परमिशन दी जा सकती है किसी और जगह के लिए, लेकिन जंतर मंतर पर उनको बैठने की परमिशन नहीं दी जाएगी.
The site where the wrestlers were protesting has been cleared. As you can see behind me, the site has been taken over by other protesters. Now as you can see that the carpets have been folded and the entire area has been cleared. But you can see that the Delhi police is here. A lot of police personnel have been deployed here.
So far, the Delhi police has registered an FIR against Brij Bhushan Singh following a Supreme Court order. It has also submitted a status report on its probe in the matter. But the wrestlers say they will continue to protest till they are given justice. In Mumbai, Matthew Thomas. Home Minister Amit Shah flying down to violence-hit Manipur today. He is expected to hold meetings
during his 4-day stay in the state. Fresh set of violence erupting in the state just hours before his visit. 5 people, including police personnel, has been killed. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi will begin a 6-day visit to 3 cities of the United States tomorrow. He's likely to meet the Indian community at an event in Santa Clara in California, followed by interactions at the Stanford University and the Hudson Institute. His 6-day event culminates with an address and interactions with the NRI community at the Jarvis Convention Center in New York. Rahul Gandhi's visit comes a month ahead of Prime Minister Modi's state visit to the US. An Indian Air Force Apache helicopter made an emergency landing in Madhya Pradesh's Bhind. The chopper made a precautionary landing during the routine training. The Indian Air Force said the entire crew and the aircraft are safe. Vigilance Commissioner Praveen Kumar Srivastava has been sworn in as the Central Vigilance Commissioner by President Murmu. Srivastava was working as the acting Central Vigilance Commissioner since December. The Rajasthan High Court, while hearing a case, has observed that human beings have the right to choose their own sex or gender identity, and that is integral to their personality. The court added that choosing one's gender was one of the most basic aspects of self-determination, dignity and freedom. Turkey's longest-serving president, Tayyip Erdogan, has declared victory in an unprecedented runoff. He got the mandate to stay in power to 2028. His rival has criticized the runoff, calling it the most unfair election process in recent years. However, he says he will not challenge the result. Radhika Udas finds out more on what the verdict could mean for Turkey. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey's longest-serving president, was in a jubilant mood as he celebrated with supporters after securing a historic mandate, which extends his tenure till 2028. With 99% of the votes counted in the runoff, Erdogan accounted for 52% of the votes, way ahead of his rival. Addressing the nation from the presidential palace, Erdogan said that the entire nation of 85 million has won, taking potshots at his rival and the LGBT community. Erdogan's win comes at a time when the Turkish economy is struggling with high inflation and is trying to emerge from the effects of the devastating earthquake and looking to improve its relations with the West.
Erdogan claimed 52.16% of the vote, while his challenger Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu won just 47.84%. Polls had predicted a much narrower outcome here, even as Turkey's soaring inflation and deadly earthquakes in February battered his poll numbers. In the end, Turks chose continuity over change. Erdogan thanked his supporters, saying managing the nation's finances is going to be his first priority.
Solving the problems caused by the price increase as a result of inflation and compensating for welfare losses is the most urgent issue of the process ahead. It is not difficult for us to find a solution to these issues. Confidence and stability are the most important things, and we will continue with these principles. We will build a strong economy around these rules.
Turkey is passing through tumultuous times. Whichever way things turn out in Ukraine, Turkey's position is going to be of pivotal importance. Economy factor, when you take it into account, Erdogan had the opportunity to do well on the economic side. It is not something which is beyond his capability.
The opposition leader did not directly concede defeat and instead called the election the most unfair one in recent years. Kılıçdaroğlu alleged the Erdogan party orchestrated all resources of the state against him.
We experienced the most unfair election in recent years. All the means of the state were mobilized for a political party. All possibilities were laid under one man's feet.
This parliament also, Erdogan would need some support from some conservative and some nationalist member parliaments who are now part of the opposition alliance. If you see Turkey's role in Ukraine, Turkey's position is very much clear. Main position is that the Russian actions against Ukraine are illegal.
Congratulatory messages for Erdogan poured in from top leaders, including US President Joe Biden and French President Emmanuel Macron. Russian President Putin congratulated his, and I quote, dear friend Erdogan as well. However, as Erdogan extends his tenure beyond 2 decades, there are fears that he may steer the nation to a more conservative Islamic path and use his clout to repress the opposition even further. With Radhika Udas, this is Shireen Bhan for CNBC-TV18. And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour. Thanks very much for watching. Do stay tuned. The news continues here on CNBC TV18.